everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Minecraft Disney World. This week we're going to be taking a break from the theme parks and we're heading over to a resort. We're going to be looking at Polynesian Resort. It's a fantastic resort with a lot of rich history. It's one of those two original resorts here at Walt Disney World, of the other being Disney's Contemporary Resort. That said, it means it opened on October 1st, 1971. It was located on the south shore of the Seven Seas Lagoon, so it's got a nice view of the Magic Kingdom, and it's got a pretty interesting past to it. So both the Contemporary and the Polynesian were built by U.S. Steel, and at the time when they were making this, U.S. Steel were actually experimenting with a new form of construction called modular construction, and their idea was you would build all the hotel rooms completely off-site. So you build it, you put it in the carpeting, in the air conditioning, in the electric, and everything. These contain little modular rooms, and then you bring them over to the hotel where the frame is built, and you just slide them right in. And the U.S. Steel pretty much thought that would be the future of construction. It would make everything so much easier. Of course, today we know that is the exact opposite of how it turned out. But it's interesting how the Polynesian sort of has a different troubled history than the Contemporary. When it comes to that construction with the Contemporary, the problem was they had built this frame and they had to keep going back and forth between which sides they were putting rooms in because the weight was the thrown off balance, so they need to make sure both sides of the resort weighed the same. The Polynesian was different though. Rather than building a frame and sliding the rooms in like the Contemporary, what they did was they stacked the rooms into shape of the building and they built the frame around it. This seemed fine at the time. However, a couple years after the resort opened, with its 492 rooms, a lot of guests started complaining about the smell of mold and mildew, and they found out that the smell was coming from the fact that there were all these gaps in between the rooms, and the frames that were built and mold was growing in there, and like debris has gotten in there. So what they had to do is they had to essentially rip it open and fill all these gaps so that no mold can grow. Luckily, later on, when they expanded the resort, they sort of went back to using sort of traditional means of construction. So this problem did not pop up. Now there had been a couple of points in its history where there was construction. Like I said, it opened with 492 rooms, but there were two big expansions in 1978. They added a longhouse as well as the Tangora Terrace. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. It was a restaurant, a support faculty, and on top of that, another pool. And then there was another expansion in 1985 where they built two more longhouses and they changed the name that same year from the Polynesian Village to Distance Polynesian Resort, and now that was a total of 847 rooms and the suites, and it was actually renovated as recently as this year. So even this is one of the two oldest resorts at Walt Disney World that still has like a fresh feel to it. It's built around the central building that they call the Grand Ceremonial House, and it was designed after the Heaton Royal Assembly Lodge. What's interesting is there are no rooms there, but there are services, and front desk things like the lobby has over 75 species of plants in there. So even though it's indoors area, it is teeming with life, which is great. And they've got a couple of little waterfalls in there, which will create the fantastic mood. About it, it's got a bunch of restaurants. There's Aloha, which is the big family-style restaurant that serves breakfast and dinner. There's Kona Cafe, which is like a smaller one. It's a cart, so it gives you a different dining experience. And then you have the Spirit of Aloha Dinner, which is a musical dinner show and it's performed throughout the week at night at a place called Lua Cove, which is actually an outdoor pavilion towards the edge of the property. It's great because you actually know to do the show. You can get dinner at Ohana and then go right to the white sand beaches and watch Wishes from the Magic Kingdom just across the waterway, which gives you this fantastic view. And I don't know if it's like the Contemporary, but in the Contemporary, when you watch the fireworks show, they actually pipe in the music from the theme park into wherever you are, so you can still get the full experience, even though you're not in the Magic Kingdom. Then on top of what, they got something called the Neverland Club, which is cool. It's sort of an activity center for kids, so I guess if parents or an older sibling want to spend more time doing something else, could drop off the kids, and it sort of gives them a lot of themed activities to do and crafts, and even meals. And it's all themed after the nursery from Peter Pan. So that's cool. It gives giving people whom all ages something to do at this resort. And then this, I thought this was interesting. Little fact about the Polynesian Resort was actually where John Lennon signed the paperwork that officially dissolved the Beatles as a band did that in 1974. So there's a little history there as well on top of just Disney history, real history. So I think that's super interesting. It's a great resort. It's one of the deluxe resorts, so it's more expensive than the others out there, but you definitely see where the money is going when you stay there. It's a great theme, even if you're not staying there. I think one of the fantastic things about Disney World is that you can go anywhere and visit these resorts and still have an enjoyable time, even if you're not staying there, just to see what it's like. Or to eat, for instance, you don't have to stay at the Polynesian to eat at Ohana. You can just go to Ohana nightly to eat there, and then it gives you a way of experience to these resorts without having to, shell out the cash to stay there, and maybe gives you an idea of what you might want to stay in the future. In any case, that's a quick look at Disney's Polynesian Resort. Fantastic recreation here in Palace Network. I hope you have a fantastic week. Whatever you're doing, make the most of it. I hope to see you guys all for another episode of Minecraft Disney World. Goodbye, everybody.